Taiho did not like crowded places. He never did. But today he had no choice. His cargo ship needed fuel and supplies, and the Villani trade station was the only stop for light years in every direction. He walked through the alien marketplace with his 2 crew members. Yuna was his engineer. She was short, smart, and always curious about alien technology. Jiwoo was his medic. She was quiet but kind, and she noticed things others missed. The 3 humans moved slowly through the busy station. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the wide corridors. Some had 4 arms. Some had scales. Some floated instead of walking. The air smelled strange, like flowers and metal mixed together. The Villani were the main species on this station. They were tall and thin, with pale blue skin and 4 arms. Their eyes were large and bright, like moons. They moved with grace, almost like dancers. Taiho thought they were beautiful in a strange way, but the Villani kept their distance from the humans. So did most other aliens. Humanity was still new to space. Only 40 years had passed since first contact. Most species did not know what to think of humans. Some were curious. Some were afraid. Some thought humans were nothing but trouble. Taiho was used to the stares. He ignored them and kept walking. "Look at this," Yuna said. She stopped at a stall selling small machines. "These power cells are amazing. They could double our engine output." "Too expensive," Taiho said. "We barely have enough credits for fuel." Yuna sighed but nodded. She knew he was right. They continued through the market. Jiwoo bought some medical supplies. Taiho found a food stall selling something that looked almost like rice. He bought 3 portions and shared them with his crew. "Not bad," Jiwoo said, chewing slowly. "Tastes like home, almost." Taiho smiled. Home was far away. Earth was on the other side of the galaxy. Sometimes he missed it. The smell of the ocean near Bazan. The sound of rain on his mother's roof. But space was his life now. He had chosen this path, and he did not regret it. They finished eating and started walking toward the docking bay. Their ship was waiting. In 2 hours, they would leave this station and continue their journey. Then Taiho saw something that made him stop. A small Villani child stood alone in the middle of the walkway. She was tiny, maybe 3 or 4 years old by human standards. Her blue skin was pale, and her big eyes looked confused. She had wandered away from her guardian. She was staring at something on the ground. Taiho followed her gaze. His heart stopped. A small metal sphere sat on the floor, half hidden under a broken crate. Red lights blinked on its surface. Taiho knew exactly what it was. He had seen them in his military training years ago. A pulse grenade, modified for maximum damage. And it was already armed. "Everyone get back!" Taiho shouted, but his voice was lost in the noise of the crowd. Some aliens looked at him with confusion. Others ignored him completely. No one understood the danger. The child did not move. She did not understand what was happening. She just stood there, frozen, staring at the blinking lights. Taiho looked around. The Guardian was nowhere in sight. Security was too far away. There was no time to warn anyone. No time to call for help. No time to do anything except act. He ran. His legs moved faster than they ever had before. He pushed through the crowd, knocking aliens aside. Some shouted at him. Some cursed. He did not care. He could only see the child. The red lights blinked faster now. The grenade was seconds from going off. Taiho reached the child and scooped her up in his arms. She was so light, so small. He turned his back to the grenade and curled his body around her like a shield. "Close your eyes," he whispered in a language she could not understand. The blast hit him. It felt like a wave of fire and thunder. The force threw him forward. He held the child tight against his chest and refused to let go. Pain exploded through his back. His skin burned. His bones screamed. But he did not release the child. He hit the ground hard. The world spun around him. He heard screaming, but it sounded far away, like sounds underwater. His vision went dark at the edges, but he could still feel the child in his arms. She was shaking, crying, but she was alive. "Safe," he tried to say. "You are safe." He did not know if the words came out. Everything was fading. The pain was too much. His body was broken. He could feel it. Footsteps surrounded him. Voices shouted in alien languages. Someone pulled the child from his arms. He wanted to hold on, but his strength was gone. The last thing he saw was Yuna's face above him. She was crying. Her lips were moving, but he could not hear what she said. Then darkness took him. Somewhere in that darkness, he heard a voice. It was soft and warm, like sunlight. "You chose to die for a stranger's child," the voice said. "This we cannot allow. Sleep now, brave one. When you wake, everything will be different." Taiho did not understand. He tried to speak, but he had no voice. He tried to move, but he had no body. There was only darkness and that strange, gentle voice Dot, so he did what the voice told him. He slept Dot, and the universe held its breath, waiting to see what he would become. Taiho opened his eyes. White light filled his vision. It was soft but bright. He blinked several times, trying to focus. Slowly, the world came back to him. He was lying on a bed. The room around him was clean and quiet. Machines hummed softly nearby. Strange symbols glowed on screens he did not recognize. The air smelled different, like rain and flowers. He tried to move, but his body felt strange, heavy and light at the same time. His muscles responded, but not the way they used to. Everything felt different. A face appeared above him. Jiwoo. Her eyes were red from crying, but she was smiling through her tears. "You are awake," she whispered. "Thank the stars. You are finally awake." Taiho tried to speak. His throat was dry and rough. "Water," he managed to say. Jiwoo quickly brought a cup to his lips. The water was cool and fresh. He drank slowly, feeling life return to his body. "How long?" he asked when he could speak again. 3 weeks, Jiwoo said. Her voice shook a little. "You have been asleep for 3 weeks. We thought you would never wake up. 3 weeks." The words seemed unreal. He remembered the blast, the fire, the pain. He remembered holding the child. "The child," he said suddenly. He tried to sit up. "Is she safe? Is she alive?" Jiwoo put a gentle hand on his shoulder and pushed him back down. "She is fine," Jiwoo said. "Not a single scratch on her." "You saved her, Taiho. You saved her life." Relief washed over him like a warm wave. He closed his eyes for a moment and let out a long breath. The child was alive. That was all that mattered. But then he noticed something strange. He looked down at his hands. They looked like his hands, but different. His skin had a faint shimmer to it. Thin lines of silver ran under the surface, pulsing with soft light. When he flexed his fingers, he felt strength he had never known before. "What happened to me?" he asked. Jiwoo looked nervous. She glanced at the door. "I should let them explain," she said. "They know more than I do." Before Taiho could ask who they were, the door slid open. 2 figures entered the room. One was Yuna. She looked tired but relieved. The other was a Villani. He was tall and old, with deep lines on his pale blue face. He wore long robes covered in golden symbols. He moved with slow dignity. "Sergeant Taiho," the Villani said. His voice sounded like wind through chimes. "I am Elder Heron. The child you saved is my granddaughter." Taiho blinked. An elder, one of the highest ranks in Villani society. He had read about them but never met one. "I am glad she is safe," Taiho said. "Anyone would have done the same." Elder Harren shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "They would not. I have lived for 400 years. I have watched many species. I have seen heroes and cowards. What you did was rare. You gave your life for a child who was not yours. A child of a species not your own. This is something we almost never see." Taiho did not know what to say. He had not thought about it. He had just acted. The child was in danger. He had to help. It was as simple as that. "The blast should have killed you," Elder Harren continued. "Your body was broken. Your heart had stopped. By all laws of nature, you should be dead." Taiho felt a chill run down his spine. "But I am not dead," he said. "No," Elder Harren agreed. "You are not, because we could not let you die. Not after what you did." He moved closer to the bed. His large eyes looked at Taiho with something like wonder. "Our ancestors left us many gifts," the elder said. "Technology so advanced that even we do not fully understand them. One of these gifts is called the Starbound Protocol. It was made to heal the most terrible wounds, to remake a broken body into something stronger, something better." Taiho looked at his shimmering hands again. "You used it on me?" "Yes," Elder Harren said. "You are the first non-Vallani to ever receive this blessing. The last time we used it was over 1,000 years ago for our greatest hero. It is our most sacred gift." Yuna stepped forward. Her eyes were wide with excitement and worry. "Taiho, you should see the scans," she said. "Your bones are reinforced with Vallani biocrystal. They are almost unbreakable now. Your reflexes are 3 times faster than before. You can see light that normal humans cannot see. You can hear sounds that were silent to you before. And your body heals itself faster than anything our doctors have ever seen." Taiho listened to her words, but they did not feel real. This sounded like something from a dream or a story. "Why?" he asked Elder Harren. "Why would you give me this? Your most sacred gift? To a human? We are strangers to your people." Elder Harren was quiet for a long moment. "Because you showed us something," he said finally. "You showed us that humanity has a heart bigger than we thought. You did not know my granddaughter. You had nothing to gain from saving her, but you gave your life anyway. That kind of love is rare in this galaxy. It deserves to be rewarded." Taiho lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. His mind was spinning. He was alive. He was changed. He was something new. "What happens now?" he asked. Elder Harren's expression became serious. "That is a difficult question," he said. "The galaxy is watching. Word of what you did has spread. Some will celebrate you. Some will fear you. Some will want to use you. You must be careful, Sergeant Taiho. You have become something that has never existed before. A human with the power of our ancestors. The universe does not know what to do with you yet." Taiho thought about this. It was a lot to take in. But somewhere deep inside, he felt something he had not expected, hoped that he'd been given a second chance, a new life. He did not know what the future held, but he knew one thing for certain. He would not waste this gift. "I understand," he said to Elder Harren. "I will be careful, and I will try to be worthy of what you have given me." The elder smiled. It was a small smile, but warm. "I believe you will," he said. "Rest now. Your journey is just beginning." Taiho closed his eyes. Outside the window, stars burned in the endless dark. And somewhere out there, the galaxy waited to see what the human would do next. The days after Taiho woke up were strange and wonderful. Every morning, the Vallani doctors ran tests on his body. They checked his blood. They measured his strength. They watched how fast his wounds healed. Every day, they found something new to be amazed about. Taiho learned to walk again first. His legs felt different now, stronger, more balanced. When he took his first steps, he almost fell because he moved faster than he expected. "Slow down," Jiwoo laughed, catching his arm. "Your body is faster now. You need to learn how to control it." She was right. Everything about him had changed. His eyes could see things that were invisible before. He could see heat coming off bodies. He could see tiny details from far away. The first time he looked out the window at the stars, he gasped. He could see colors he had never known existed. His ears could hear sounds that were silent before. He could hear the hum of machines through walls. He could hear heartbeats from across the room. At first, it was overwhelming. So many sounds. So many noises. But slowly, he learned to focus. His body was stronger than ever. The Vellani doctors asked him to test his limits. He lifted weights that should have been impossible. He ran faster than their machines could easily measure. His bones did not break. His muscles did not tire the way they used to. "You are remarkable," one doctor told him. "The Starbound protocol was made for Vellani bodies. We did not know how it would work on a human. But it seems your species is compatible, perhaps even more compatible than us." Taiho did not know what to think about that. He had never been special before. He was just a cargo pilot from a small city on Earth. Now he was something else entirely. But with the gifts came problems. On the 5th day after he woke up, Elder Heron came to see him with a worried face. "The Galactic Council has heard about you," the elder said. "Word is spreading across all the trade routes. A human who survived death. A human given our most sacred gift." Many species are curious. Some are amazed. But others are afraid. "Afraid?" Taiho asked. "Of me?" "Of what you represent," Elder Heron explained. "Humanity is young. Your species has been in space for only 40 years. You are still learning, still growing. Some species think humans are dangerous. They believe you will grow too fast and take too much. Now one of you has become stronger than almost any other being in the galaxy. This makes them nervous." Taiho understood. He had seen how other aliens looked at humans. With suspicion. With doubt. Sometimes with hatred. "What will they do?" he asked. "Some will send ambassadors. They will want to meet you, study you, understand you." Elder Heron paused. "Others may try to harm you, to stop you before you become a threat. You must be careful." The first ambassadors arrived 2 days later. Some were friendly. A group from a species called the Marani brought gifts and praise. They had long necks and gentle eyes, and they spoke of peace and cooperation. "What you did was beautiful," their leader said. "You give us hope that younger species can be trusted." Others were not so kind. The Drawn ambassador came with warriors at his back. The Drawn were large and powerful, with thick scales and sharp teeth. They were known throughout the galaxy as fighters. They respected strength and looked down on weakness. The ambassador was bigger than Taiho by half a meter. He looked down at the human with cold eyes. "So you are the one everyone is talking about," he said. His voice was deep and rough. "The human hero." "I am Taiho," he replied calmly. "I am no hero. I just did what was right." The ambassador laughed. It was not a nice laugh. "Humans," he said with disgust. "Your kind is barely more than animals. You stumbled into space by accident. You built nothing. You create nothing. You are weak and small. This gift the Vellani gave you is wasted on such a pathetic species." The room went quiet. Yuna's hands became fists. Jiwoo looked angry but stayed silent. Even the Vellani guards seemed uncomfortable. Taiho looked at the ambassador for a long moment. He felt no anger. Only calm. "Maybe you are right," he said. "Maybe humans are young and weak. Maybe we have a lot to learn. But I was in that marketplace when the bomb went off. I saw hundreds of aliens there. Dozens of species. All of them older and wiser than humans. He took a step closer to the ambassador. He did not flinch. But when that grenade was about to explode, when that little girl was going to die, not one of them moved to help her. They all ran. Every single one. Except me. The ambassador's eyes narrowed. So maybe we are young, Taiho continued. Maybe we are weak. But at least we do not leave children to die while we save ourselves. Maybe that is worth something. The room stayed silent. The ambassador stared at Taiho with something new in his eyes. It might have been anger. It might have been respect. It was hard to tell. Without another word, the drawn ambassador turned and walked out. His warriors followed. Yuna let out a breath she had been holding. That was either very brave or very stupid, she said. Probably both. Taiho admitted. Elder Heron had watched the whole thing from the corner. Now he stepped forward. You spoke well, he said. But the ambassador is not your biggest problem. There are others who watch from the shadows. Factions who want to capture you. Scientists who want to study your body. Warlords who want to use you as a weapon. Your life will never be simple again, Sergeant Taiho. Taiho looked out the window at the stars. It never was, he said quietly. He thought about the little girl he had saved. About her big, scared eyes. About how light she felt in his arms. Whatever came next, he would face it. Not because he was strong. Not because he was special. But because that was who he was. A simple man from a small city, trying to do what was right in a very big universe. The attack came without warning. Taiho was in his room when he felt the floor shake. A distant boom echoed through the walls. Then another. Then another. He was on his feet before the third explosion ended. Alarms filled the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Voices shouted in a dozen languages. Through the walls, Taiho could hear screaming, running, chaos. Yuna burst through his door. Attackers, she said, breathing hard. At least 20 of them. They hit the residential sector. There are families there. Children. Taiho did not wait to hear more. He pushed past her and started running. Wait! Yuna called after him. The doctor said you are not fully healed. You need more time. But Taiho did not stop. He could hear things she could not. Through the walls, through the floors, he heard crying. He heard people begging for help. He heard the sound of weapons firing. He ran faster. The corridors were filled with panicked aliens. They rushed in every direction, trying to escape. Taiho pushed through them, moving against the flow. His enhanced body carried him, forward, like wind dot. He reached the residential sector in minutes dot. It was bad. Part of the ceiling had collapsed. Smoke filled the air. Small fires burned in broken rooms. Bodies lay on the floor. Some were moving. Some were not. Taiho saw a Volani woman trapped under a fallen beam. She was crying, reaching for something he could not see. He ran to her and grabbed the beam. It was heavy. Heavier than anything he had ever lifted before. But his new muscles screamed with power. He pulled. The beam groaned. Metal twisted. With one final heave, he threw it aside. The woman scrambled free. In her arms was a baby, small and blue and crying. "Thank you," she sobbed. "Thank you, thank you." But Taiho was already moving. There were others. He could hear them. He found an old Velani man buried under rubble. He dug him out with his bare hands. He found 3 children hiding in a collapsed classroom, too scared to move. He carried them out 2 at a time, running through smoke and fire. Each time he saved someone, he heard more voices calling for help. So he kept going. His enhanced ears led him through the chaos. He found survivors that no one else could find. He reached places that were blocked to everyone else. His body took damage, burns, cuts, bruises, but he healed almost as fast as he was hurt. Then he heard something different, voices, harsh and cold. Speaking in a language he recognized, he moved toward the sound. He found a corridor that led to a large room. Through the smoke, he saw them, the attackers. There were 6 of them, large, armored. They wore combat suits that made them look like machines. They carried heavy weapons that glowed with deadly light dot in front of them. A group of civilians huddled together. Vallani, Marani, others. Maybe 20 aliens in total, including children. They were on their knees, helpless, afraid. One of the attackers was speaking. "The message is simple," he said. "Humans must be stopped. Their infection must not spread. This station welcomed them. Now this station pays the price." Taiho understood now. These were extremists. Aliens who hated humanity. Who believed humans were a threat to the galaxy. Who would kill innocent people to make a point. The attacker raised his weapon toward the civilians. Taiho did not think. He moved. He was across the room before anyone could react. His fist connected with the first attacker before the alien even knew he was there. The combat suit cracked. The alien flew backward and hit the wall hard. The second attacker turned to fire. Taiho ducked under the blast and kicked the weapon away. His second strike took the alien down. The remaining 4 opened fire. Energy blasts hit Taiho in the chest and shoulder. Pain erupted through his body. But he did not fall. His enhanced body absorbed the damage. The silver lines under his skin glowed bright as his cells worked to heal him. He kept moving. The third attacker tried to run. Taiho caught him by the arm and threw him into the fourth. They both went down in a tangle of metal and limbs. The fifth attacker was bigger than the others. He dropped his weapon and charged at Taiho with bare hands. They collided like 2 storms meeting. The alien was strong. Very strong. For a moment, they struggled, but Taiho was stronger now. He twisted free and struck the alien in the chest. Once, twice, 3 times. The combat suit shattered. The alien collapsed. Only one remained. The last attacker had grabbed a child. A small Vallani girl. He held a knife to her throat. "Stay back," he hissed. "Stay back or she dies." Taiho stopped. His heart pounded. The girl's eyes were wide with terror. She reminded him of the first child he had saved. So small, so scared. "Let her go," Taiho said. His voice was calm but hard as steel. "This is between us. She has nothing to do with this. She has everything to do with this." The attacker screamed. "You humans come to our galaxy and everyone welcomes you. Everyone loves you. But we see the truth. We see what you really are. Monsters, destroyers." The knife pressed against the child's skin. Taiho looked at the girl. She was crying silently, but she was looking at him, trusting him, believing he would save her. He could not fail her. He took a slow breath. Time seemed to stop. His enhanced senses picked up everything. The attacker's heartbeat, the tiny movements of his muscles, the angle of the knife. Taiho moved faster than he had ever moved. Before his hand shot out and grabbed the attacker's wrist. He twisted. Bones cracked. The knife fell. In the same motion, he pulled the child away and pushed her toward the other civilian's dot. Then he hit the attacker. Just once. The alien dropped like a stone. The room was silent. Taiho stood among the fallen attackers, breathing hard. Silver light pulsed through his veins. His body ached from a dozen wounds, but they were already healing. The civilians stared at him. Fear and wonder mixed in their eyes. They had never seen anything like this before. A human who moved like lightning. who could not be stopped. Then the little girl he had saved ran forward. She grabbed his hand with both of hers. "Thank you," she whispered. Tae-ho knelt down to look at her. His voice was gentle. "You are safe now," he said. "Everything is going to be okay." Station security arrived moments later. They stared at the scene with shock. 6 heavily armed attackers, all defeated by one man. One of the officers approached Tae-ho. "Who are you?" he asked. Tae-ho looked at the civilians, at the children, at the girl still holding his hand. "Just someone trying to help," he said. But he knew the truth. After today, nothing would be the same. The galaxy had seen what a human could do. What he could do, and they would never forget. The footage spread across the galaxy like fire. Every news channel showed the same images. A human running through smoke and flame. A human saving lives without rest. A human defeating 6 armored attackers with his bare hands. A human kneeling beside a frightened child, speaking gentle words. Within hours, billions of beings had seen it. Within days, everyone in the known universe knew the name Tae-ho. The reactions were mixed at first. Some species celebrated. They called Tae-ho a hero. They said humanity had proven itself worthy of respect. They spoke of courage and sacrifice and the best qualities any being could have. Others were afraid. They said the footage proved humans were dangerous. They said no species should have such power. They demanded that the Villani explain themselves. They demanded that Tae-ho be studied, controlled, perhaps even destroyed. But then something unexpected happened. More stories started to appear. Other humans in other places doing similar things. A human doctor who had worked for years in an alien hospital, saving lives without asking for payment. A human teacher who had opened schools on poor alien worlds. A human pilot who had risked her ship to rescue strangers from a dying planet. The galaxy began to see a pattern. Humans were reckless. Humans were emotional. Humans were sometimes foolish and often loud. But humans also cared, deeply, truly, in ways that many older species had forgotten how to care. Elder Harren addressed the Galactic Council in person. The council chamber was vast. Representatives from 1,000 species sat in curved rows that rose toward a distant ceiling. Holographic images flickered in the air. The room hummed with whispered conversations in 100 languages. The elder stood in the center, small but dignified. "For 10,000 years, he began, our council has judged species by their technology, by their age, by their contributions to science and art. We have praised the wise and dismissed the young. We have valued power and overlooked compassion." He paused. The chamber was silent. "Perhaps we have been measuring the wrong things." He waved his hand. Images appeared in the air above him. Tae-ho running through fire. Tae-ho shielding the child from the grenade. Tae-ho facing the drawn ambassador without fear. Tae-ho kneeling beside the frightened girl after the battle. "This human did not save my granddaughter because he would gain from it," Elder Harren said. "He did not fight the attackers because he wanted glory. He did these things because they were right, because he could not stand by while others suffered." He looked around the chamber at the assembled representatives. Humanity is young, yes. Impulsive, certainly. They make mistakes. They are still learning how to be part of our community. But they have something that many of us have lost. A fire in their hearts. A need to protect. A willingness to sacrifice. He lowered his head for a moment, then raised it again. "I believe we should welcome them. Not because they are perfect, but because they make us remember what we were long ago, when we were young and brave and full of hope." The debate lasted for hours. Some spoke for humanity. Others spoke against. Old arguments were repeated. Old fears were voiced. But in the end, the vote was clear. The Galactic Council granted humanity provisional full membership. It was a status that usually took centuries to achieve. Humanity had done it in 40 years. The news reached the Volani station quickly. Taiho was standing at a viewport, looking at the stars, when Yuna and Jiwoo found him. "Did you hear?" Yuna asked, her face bright with joy. "Full membership. The council approved it. Because of you," Jiwoo added. "They said your actions changed everything." Taiho shook his head slowly. "Not because of me. Because of all of us. I just did what any human would do." "That is exactly the point," came a voice from behind them. Elder Harain approached. He moved slowly, but his eyes were warm. "You do not understand, Sergeant Taiho. For thousands of years, we have watched species rise and fall. We have seen empires built on strength and wisdom crumble to dust. But we rarely see what you showed us. Courage without reward. Love without condition. This is rare in any age." He placed a hand on Taiho's shoulder. "You say any human would have done what you did. Perhaps that is true. If so, then humanity is more remarkable than any of us knew." Taiho looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there was Earth, his home, his people. They were scattered across the galaxy now, building new lives on strange worlds, learning, growing, making mistakes and fixing them. "So what happens now?" Yuna asked. "You are famous. The council wants to give you medals. The Volani want to build statues. Every news network in the galaxy wants to interview you." Taiho smiled. It was a tired smile, but genuine. "I am still just a cargo pilot from Bizen," he said. "That has not changed." "But you have changed," Jiwoo said softly. "Whether you like it or not. You are stronger now, faster. You can do things no human has ever done. The galaxy knows your name." Taiho was quiet for a moment. He thought about his new abilities, the strength in his bones, the sharpness of his senses, the silver light that pulsed under his skin. He thought about the child he had saved, about her big, scared eyes, about how she had trusted him without question. He thought about all the other children out there, on all the other worlds. Children who needed help. Children who had no one to protect them. "Then I should get to work," he said finally. "There is a whole galaxy out there. Lots of people who need help. Lots of work to be done." He turned from the viewport and walked toward the docking bay. His ship was waiting. Small and old, and nothing special. And special. Just like him, before everything changed. But everything had changed. And there was no going back. Yuna and Jiwoo followed him. "Where are we going?" Yuna asked. "I do not know yet," Taiho admitted. "But we will find out together." They boarded the ship. The engines hummed to life. The docking clamps released Dot as they flew away from the station. Taiho looked back one last time. He could see the lights of the marketplace, the towers of the residential sector, the place where his old life had ended and his new life had begun. Then he turned to face the stars ahead. Behind him, the galaxy watched. Millions of beings on thousands of worlds. They had seen what a human could do, what one ordinary man with an extraordinary heart could achieve. And for the first time in a very long time, they looked at the young species called humanity and felt something new. Hope. Somewhere out there, a child was in danger. Somewhere, someone needed help. Somewhere, the universe was waiting for a hero. Taiho smiled and pushed the engines to full speed. He was ready.